Somewhere in southern France, 40,000 years ago, a woman is crawling through a passage that has never seen light.
Her torch is a bundle of juniper twigs soaked in animal fat. The ceiling is low enough to touch her back. The air smells like wet limestone and smoke.
She has been crawling for 20 minutes. She could turn back. She doesn't.
She reaches a chamber. She stands up, and she does something no human has ever done before.
She puts an image on a wall.
I'm the witness. I have watched humans do a lot of strange things. Build cities, start wars, fall in love. But this is the one I never understood until I did.
Here is what your school textbook told you. Cave paintings were hunting plans. A caveman drew a bison. Then he went and killed the bison. Simple.
The witness has read your textbook. Your textbook is wrong. About all of it. The animals, wrong. The painters, wrong. The purpose, very wrong.
I watched her work for 6 hours that night. What she was doing in that cave was stranger than any textbook has ever guessed.
The animals on the cave walls are lions, rhinoceroses, mammoths, cave bears. The bones in the cave floor, the actual meals, are reindeer and fish. They did not paint what they ate. They painted what could kill them.
At Chauvet Cave in France, 63% of the animals on the walls are dangerous predators. Lions, panthers, hyenas. Not one of them was dinner.
Nobody paints a rabbit on a sacred wall. Even 40,000 years ago, rabbits were not impressive.
She painted what frightened her, what towered over her, what could end everything in a single charge. And she painted it in the one place where it could never reach her.
But here is where it gets stranger, because the person holding the brush also not who you think. In 2013, anthropologist Dean Snow at Penn State University measured hand stencils from 8 cave sites across France and Spain. He used finger-length ratios, a method from evolutionary biology.
In humans, men's ring fingers are typically longer than their index fingers. Women's are closer to equal length. Of 32 measurable hand stencils, 75% were female. The first artist was not a caveman recording his kill. She was a woman. And in some caves, the handprints are tiny, toddler-sized, with adult fingerprints alongside, steadying the child's hand as they blew the pigment together. The witness has watched a lot of creation myths. Most of them have a man in the starring role. The bones disagree. Again.
Now look at the animals on the wall.
Some of them have 8 legs. Some have 2 heads. Some have tails in 3 different positions. For 100 years, archaeologists called these mistakes, primitive errors. They were not mistakes. Paleolithic art specialist Mark Azema proved it. Those multiple legs are the same leg, in slightly different positions, like frames of animation. Light a torch in that chamber. Hold it up. Watch the flame flicker. And the horse on the wall?
It runs.
40,000 years before cinema, before photography, before the flipbook, a woman in a cave with a torch and some ochre invented the moving image. The witness was there. He did not see it coming. But she was not making entertainment. She was not making art. And what she believed she was actually doing is the strangest part of all. Archaeologist Jean Klotz and researcher David Lewis Williams proposed something extraordinary. The cave wall was not a canvas. It was a membrane between this world and whatever was on the other side. The painters believed the animals were already inside the rock. They were not creating images. They were pulling them out. The artists chose surfaces where natural cracks and curves already suggested animal shapes. A bulge in the rock becomes a bison's shoulder. A ridge becomes a horse's spine. They saw the animal first. Then they freed it. And the caves were chosen for their sound. Archaeoacoustician Igor Reznikov found that paintings cluster at the points of maximum resonance, the spots where the cave echoes loudest. Hum in that chamber, and the stone hums back. The walls vibrate. The painted animals tremble in the torchlight. And for a moment, they are alive. These paintings are not near the cave entrance. They are not where people lived or slept. They are deep, sometimes hundreds of meters underground, in complete darkness. Some chambers require crawling through passages barely wide enough for a human body. Some paintings are 5 meters above the ground. They built scaffolding. In the dark, the difficulty was the point. The deeper you went, the more sacred the space. The harder the journey, the more powerful the act. In 40,000 years, we have not changed this instinct. If something is easy to reach, we do not believe it is valuable. If it nearly kills us getting there, we build a religion around it. But after 6 hours of painting animals and spirits in motion, she did one last thing. The simplest thing anyone has ever done in a cave. She put down the bone tube. She mixed the last of the red ochre with water. She placed her left hand flat against the cold rock. Then she leaned forward and blew. Pigment sprayed around her fingers, red mist settling on stone. When she pulled her hand away, her hand was gone. But its shape remained. A negative space. A silence in the pigment. Every animal she painted was for something greater than herself. The spirits, the membrane, the other side. But this was just her. Her hand, her breath, her pigment. And it said the simplest thing any human has ever said. I was here. 1879, Altamira, Spain. A nobleman named Marcelino Sanz de Sautula is digging in a cave floor, looking for stone tools. His 8-year-old daughter María is bored. She wanders into a side chamber. Her father is looking down. She looks up. She sees bison, painted on the ceiling, red and black and 17,000 years old. She runs back and shouts, "Mira, papá, bueyes! Look, papa, oxen!" Her father published the discovery. The scientific establishment called him a fraud. They said Ice Age humans could not possibly have created art this sophisticated. He died in 1888. Still discredited. It took 20 years for them to admit he was right. The first artist was ignored for 40,000 years. The first person to find her work was ignored too. The witness notes, some things do not change. In January 2026, scientists found the oldest piece of art ever made by a human. A hand stencil. 67,800 years old, on a cave wall in Sulawesi, Indonesia.
The fingers were narrowed, shaped like claws. She made her hand look like something not human before pressing it against the rock.
That handprint is still there, on a wall in a cave that no sunlight has touched in 67,000 years. And it is still saying the same thing it said the day she made it. I was here. You are watching this right now in a cave made of light. Different walls, different pigment. Same impulse, same need. She could not know that you would see this, but she hoped someone would. That is why she painted in the dark. Not because the paintings were for the spirits. Not because they were for the tribe. Because somewhere deep in a part of her brain that you still carry.
She knew that the only thing worse than dying is dying without proof that you lived. And in Chauvet Cave, preserved in the clay floor for 26,000 years, there are footprints. A child, about 8 years old, walking beside a wolf, carrying a torch.
We don't know who the child was. We don't know where they were going. But the torch marks on the ceiling show where they stopped to relight it. They kept going. The first mark, the first meaning, the first proof. That is what she left. And we are still leaving them. Next time on Human Stories, The Crossing. One man walks into a frozen wasteland with nothing behind him. An entire continent waits on the other side.
I'll see you there.